let's move into Resident Evil Village. I've been playing it a good part of today. I think I'm halfway done the game. Sean, you already finished the game.
I did.
How long did it take you to beat it?
A little under 8 hours.
Well, under 8 hours. It's not a terribly long game, basically. But I mean, Resident Evil games typically aren't very long. Technically, like you can beat them. Max, you were speed running Resident Evil 2. How fast?
Yeah, 58 minutes was my fastest run.
Oh, they're not super fast games if you want to go through them that quickly. But like, it seems like people are beating this game in about 8 hours, basically, just in basic, casual like time that you take to go through it, not trying to even rush. But I'm noticing some differing opinions here, because some people seem to like first person, other people do not, and I kind of see both sides here, because I've been playing it, like I said, and there are some interesting things here in the game. I'm going to try not to spoil it for a lot of people in the chat, because there are some legitimately good moments in the game when you're going through it. But what's everyone think of RE Village so far? Max, you already finished it. Sean, you already fixed it. MVG, you're playing through it now.
I got it on the Xbox, and I'm 3 hours, actually almost 4 hours in. I don't want to spoil it. I want to say where I am, but you guys probably know 4 hour mark where I'm probably am. I love it. I'm loving it so far. I think it's awesome. I'm into it.
Okay.
I want to try beat it this weekend if I can.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it right now too, with what's going on currently. But I want to see some of these bosses that are being described to me, is what I'll say. I want to see what they exactly do here, and how their I guess their entire level that leads up to them is. Before I give it a final score or thought on it. But Sean, what'd you think of your playthrough? Because you expressed some opinions on Twitter about it.
I was gonna make a video on it, but I honestly don't want to deal with stupid fanboy bullshit, so I probably won't.
That's the whole point of having a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll make a reply video. It'd be great.
I honestly, it's not great. Like, I don't think it's great. I think it looks good. It looks good. I think
it looks incredible. I'm gonna say it looks incredible.
It looks good. I'm playing on the Series X. Definitely some very visually pleasing moments. There's a lot of problems with the game though that nobody seems to talk about. First off,
because there are none.
The game is not scary whatsoever. There's no horror. There's no tension. It's.
I'll agree with that.
Compare it to Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 scared the dog shit out of me. Games like Outlast scared the dog shit out of me.
You didn't even play that in VR, did you?
No.
I did.
Dude, that's like next level. Like scary played in VR.
Really good. Yeah.
The whole time I'm like, this game never scared me. Like, you had some tense moments, but the standard difficulty is way too easy. I died a fuck ton playing Resident Evil 7. I died maybe 4 times my whole playthrough of Resident Evil 8. The latter half of the game, I didn't like the setting at all. I know Max really liked it. I hated it. I thought it was cheap.
It's silly.
I thought it's very silly. There's a lot of weird, silly moments. The story goes all over the place. I don't think Ethan's a super interesting character. Even how everything plays out in the game, I still don't think he's a super interesting character. I don't know. It could just boil down to the fact that I prefer third-person Resident Evil games, but I just felt like the pacing of this game was all over the place. Things happen in the game that, and they happen in all Resident Evil games. They don't really make sense, but I was definitely shocked at how short or how long it did not take me to beat the game, because I saw most people say, oh, well, if you go through it fast, it's like 10 hours, but it's like 13 hours if you play it. Look, I got most of the secrets. I always read all of the stuff in the game because I'm interested in the lore of the game. And it still just kind of, went by super fast. I don't think it's a bad game. To me, if I did scores, I would give it, high 8 or something like that. But I think 7 was way better in terms of story, in terms of horror representation, in terms of actually scaring you, in terms of item resource management, in terms of a lot of things. And this almost feels like they took like 7's mindset and combined it with 4's gameplay, which on paper sounds good, but I don't know. Like I liked what they did with 7 as far as rebooting the series, but all this made me want is Resident Evil Revelations 3. I'm like, all right, now I can get my Resident Evil game. It goes down to personal preference.
I understand why Like, I understand why they have the first person like mode set up, because they're trying to do that shock factor when they do certain things in the game. But I gotta be honest, I think it's kind of stayed through his welcome here, because like they did this in Condemned. Remember Condemned on the 360 when that came out?
Yep.
Yes.
And they did this moment in the game where they basically like just mess up your character's hand and like hold up in front of you. And it's like, all right, that's pretty shocking. But they keep doing that in these different games now for like the last decade or so. And now I'm to the point where I feel like
Come on, man. That scene was hilarious in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Come on.
Which one?
So funny.
There's so many of them where you're like, what?
This is getting ridiculous, though. MVG, this is. Imagine if Leon S. Kennedy got his hand sliced off. How would you feel? Or if Chris Redfield? It's only because it's this bum Ethan that you can't see his face. This guy's dousing liquid on his hands.
This guy's like Jesus, man. He puts the whole water back on the pan.
He does. Water into wine.
He's like Jesus Christ, man.
What is with the Dreamcast? Somebody explain this.
Somebody throw this out.
Gets sewed back on too.
Let me just clear up all this Sean slander. So I've beat the game 3 times now. My first playthrough was 12 hours. My second one was a little under 8 hours. And my third one was about 5 hours, because now I'm trying to speed run it for fun. I've also completely done Mercenaries mod. I've unlocked every single thing, and the
Mercenaries
lightsaber
is fun. I like Mercenaries. I'm having fun.
Well,
with
and
that.
Mercenaries has the Returnal style thing now, the randomized buffs. When you play it, every level has these hidden orbs. You can pick it up that'll give you like more damage or less speed and more armor and stuff like that. Love those elements. To me, I feel like the first person really works. And the reason why is that this feels like a payoff to Resident Evil. Is that Resident Evil, it felt like they kept zooming the scope out. They kept giving us bigger cities, bigger bioweapons, bigger catastrophes. And I felt like 7 and 8 is the answer to that, which is one random doofus who can't keep his fucking hands attached, keeps just running into worse and worse situations. And I like that. I like that a lot.
I'll be honest, though. I think at this point, it's more shocking to see things like Leon getting chainsawed to death with one of those scenes than seeing this dude lose like his pinky and ring finger randomly or something now. So, I just think the first person close-up of the violence and gore is just like kind of falling off. I don't know. It's not like it used to be with some of the shock value with these games, to where, like I said, if we were zoomed out and we saw the main character just get lit up in some way, it'd be like, okay, that's a bit more shocking to see.
That's why I'm genuinely interested at the end of the month, RGT, because Song of Horror, like we've been talking about off stream, coming out. I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts on that, because it was a great game.
The thing of it is, it's like Outlast still scares the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's in a first person perspective. I almost feel like they wanted to sort of go in an Outlast style direction with this game, but then they were like, no way. Like, I almost feel like that this is a game that like they almost changed their mind. Like 3/4 through the development cycle, they changed their mind, because that the last setting that you're in the game, which takes up a pretty good chunk of the game, it just feels so disjointed to me from all the other stuff.
I've talked to some people that was always in the game. They did change a lot of stuff in the last year, though. They did add in a lot of stuff to the story to make it connect more to the grander universe. But that was always part of it. To your point, Sean, you're definitely right. The game is not scary at all, and that feels weird at times. Literally never got spooked a single bit, not a single time. Not even jump scares really work in that game. And I think part of it is that the producers said that they found that a lot of people were buying Resident Evil 7. The sales of RE7 were up through the freaking roof, but a lot of people were getting so scared they were quitting. They would say they liked the game, they said they were enjoying the experience, but they simply couldn't complete it. It was too spooky.
Mode. That's fine.
well, and that's why I think that one of the things they did is I think they changed it to daytime, because that's definitely one of the weirdest parts about Village is that the whole game takes place during the day. So these monsters are not scary. You will see werewolves crouching on the roof from like a block away and just snipe them.
You got a sniper rifle.
That guy's supposed to be in the dark, I think. That seems like weird of like, why would these guys just be crouched on the roof waiting to get blasted by my flimsy disposable hands?
Let me ask you a question for those who like it, because I'm like, I can't stand first person Resident Evil. I've tried to like it. I've tried 3 separate times to play RE7 playthrough. Like I think this first person ish needs to go away, or it needs to be just separate, right? Have like a separate type of thing like Sega's doing with Judgment, with the RPG series and the regular Yakuza or whatever, right?
Dude, it's called Revelations 3, and it will be our savior.
We know that's coming, so that's cool. But I mean, like, do you guys feel that maybe it's not as scary because in Resident Evil 7, your weapons aren't like as powerful? Like this one, you have like the merchant, the fat merchant dude. You know, he's there.
Duke.
You can, the Duke. You can buff all your weapons. So from my watch, because I've watched everything, I saw the reviews and everything for the game for Resident Evil 8 and 7. You guys think it's because you're more powerful? It's maybe not as scary because you have way more upgrades and stuff in this one.
More powerful and more ammunition.
You kind of roll that.
You have tons of fucking ammunition.
I never felt like I was going to run out of ammo at any point in the game so far.
Yeah, I never did.
Will never like go away. You'll always have ammo. You'll always have, powerful weapons and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. I don't hate.
Maybe I'll play it.
I think the biggest thing is, and Sean hit on this point. I think the biggest thing here is that the enemies don't have a lot of health, and so there were times where I was going into like the third area. I had 270 bullets for my pistol, which was fully upgraded, which meant that I bought 0 ammunition. I wasn't even crafting that much ammunition, but most guys go down with 3 or 4 headshots. So it's the type of thing of like, playing on the harder difficulty. So now I've played it on hardcore, and I'm doing my hardest, the Village of Shadows playthrough. The harder you play it, I think the more fun it is, because they do one-shot you. It does make it scary, but it's weird that you have to do that much to get your pulse pounding.
Okay.
Because RE4 is like that. RE4, you never really run out of ammo at all. That's my favorite Resident Evil game of all time.
But see, like Resident Evil 4 is probably the best Resident Evil game ever made. Second, maybe to Resident Evil 1.
What?
But
no, Resident Evil 4 is better.
No, there's a lot of people who complain about Resident Evil 4. They say, well, because that's the shift from horror to action.
Yeah.
Correct.
But Resident Evil 4's pacing is impeccable. The game is almost flawless.
I think that here's a hot take. I think that Resident Evil 8 might be my favorite Resident Evil pacing ever. I like that in Village. I love in Village that you always know the direction you're supposed to walk, but whenever you stop, you can explore and do all the secrets and find the treasure chests and do all the puzzles and stuff. I like the fact that when I want to fight, I walk in the direction of the enemies and do all that stuff. But I love that the game feels a little bit RPG-ish to me at times. So if I can grind on the enemies and spend that money to upgrade my guns, or I can just explore, or, I like all the different options.
I kind of want to play it now, and I think I'll wait till it's $10.
I will say this, though. Returnal's house sequences are scarier than Resident Evil 8.
True. Yeah.
There is one huge jump scare. So yeah, there's like one where I actually got kind of like, woo. And
that's because we're expecting PT when we walk into that Returnal house. It's got that PT vibe to it.
Yeah,
that's a very uneasy setting where it's like, what is going on?